Welcome back to another road trip. This is shaping up to be our final, I think, road trip of the 2023 season. It's 8:31. It's the middle of November. We're going to Asheville, North Carolina for the week, leaving from Ohio. And it says that we're projected to get there at 6:35. Our first stop is in Parkersburg, West Virginia Supercharger in 2 hours and 9 minutes. Here's our map. We'll get there with 7%. Right now we have 73%. And we're all packed up and ready to go, so I will check in if anything else that comes up, or if when we get to the supercharger at 10:41. Alright, quick update. We made an unplanned stop at Sheetz just to use the restroom. And they ended up having superchargers here, so I figured if we were going in anyways, we might as well plug in. Got us up to 74%, and we got a drink and some snacks, and then I'm gonna put the address back in because that's gonna probably change our whole trip. And it's really convenient because we were just stopping anyways and then pulled in and they had superchargers, so it's really nice to see something like that. Yeah, now we're going to Charleston, West Virginia. We'll see if it changes or not, but we're gonna get out on the road. 2 hours, 25 minutes. Let's see if we can see our charging. New Philly, Ohio, $7. We probably went from 40 to 74%, so not bad for $7. And then it's 9:30 now. That's what I was trying to remember. So it says we'll get there at 12:02, so we will update. Alright, we have arrived in Parkersburg, West Virginia with 20% battery. So I'm curious, it says we're gonna be here a really long time. It says 50 minutes. We'll see what that ends up looking like, because that has us stopping only one more time after this, so it's probably gonna fill us up like all the way. So honestly, instead of saying 50 minutes, what I would probably do is get up to like 70% and then just leave, and the car will it'll find a new stop, because there's no point in staying here from 70% to 100% battery, because the charging rate will slow down so much. So I'll just stay here till like 70% and then leave and get rerouted and see what that looks like. But for now, we're gonna be chilling in Parkersburg. Probably have some packed lunch because we're just at a Sheetz and there's not really anything around. It's $15. We're at 72%. There's this area doesn't seem the best, so we want to get out of here and not wait the additional 30 minutes. Plus, I just don't want to wait that long. Anyways, so I'm gonna try to see what this will do if I end trip and just restart it here. So when I restarted it, it did add one more. I just didn't think it did because it still has us here for 5 more minutes. The next one's right on the West Virginia border, and then we'll have one more here. I'm thinking it'll probably give us another one in here somewhere, because it's 177 miles and it's been getting colder. I'm not sure how much range we'll really have, but I guess we'll see. I mean, that would be Princeton, West Virginia, so we'll see if that's where we end up. I'm guessing we don't. I'm guessing we'll be somewhere else. We're just gonna do the 5 more minutes here and then take off. We're getting 74 kilowatts now, which is because we're at such a high state of charge, we're slowing down. So it's not ideal. That's why I'd rather get here lower and leave lower. He says we'll get there at 6 now, which was 6:30. So that's already shaved off 30 minutes. Alright, it rerouted us to go to a supercharger at Charleston, but it has us getting there with 40%, and I'm not stopping with 40 because it's just gonna mess up the whole rest of the trip charging in the top half of the battery. So the plan for now is I'm just gonna go right past it and let it reroute me, and hopefully, I mean, it can't get a worse option than that. Alright, we're in Charleston. I tried to go past it and it really wanted me to turn around. I don't know if it's because we're in the middle of West Virginia. Maybe there's not a lot of superchargers along this stretch. At risk of getting even like the farther I tested it and kept going, the more time we would have lost. So I just turned around and lost like 5 minutes instead of risking it and losing 15 or 20 or whatever. It really wanted us to stop with 36%. Now it says 30 minutes remaining to continue, and then we'll go to Virginia. As we know, it's always changing in the middle of the route, so I don't know where we'll actually end up. We might get Starbucks. I don't know if you can see it. It's right over there. We can just walk. Since we have 30 minutes, we might just go do that. Alright, we just arrived at the Comfort Inn Superchargers in Atkins, Virginia, with 17% battery left when we got here. That was like a, I don't know, maybe a 4-hour stretch. It was a really long time between the last two. We went from 85%, I think, down to 17. It wants us to do 20 minutes to continue the trip, and then we'll get there. So I'll probably do longer just so that we have more range for while we're there. Still says we'll get there at 6:30, which is back to what it said when we left. And I'll check back in before we leave. Alright, it's 4:27. We're done charging. And we're gonna head to Asheville. It's 2 hours, 144 miles. We'll get there at 6:38 and get checked into our rental. Alright, we just pulled in. It's 6:57. We stopped. I just showed that little ramen shop we stopped at and got some dinner. And now we're gonna get into the rental. We have 20%, so we're gonna just charge up another day at a different supercharger. But that's it for the road trip here. Comment if you have any questions about it, but hopefully I covered most of the details in that video, and I'll see you in the next one.